Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we will study the topic performance management. That is the meaning, definitions of performance management, reasons for undertaking the performance management, process of performance management, diagnosis and benchmarking, setting the performance standard, performance measurement, review of performance, and the last topic, that is rewarding the performance through the financial and non-financial aspect. So let's start with the video lecture. First, we will study the topic performance management. What is performance management? So, performance management can be defined as a development of individual with competence and commitment, working towards the achievement of shared meaningful objectives within an organization, which supports and encourages their achievement. So, performance management includes the activities to ensure the goals are consistently being met in an effective and efficient manner. So, it focuses on the performance of organization, also the performance of department, process to build a product or services, and employees, etc. It can be defined as a development of individual with a competence, commitment, and working towards the achievement of shared meaningful objectives with the organization and support and encourages their achievement. So, a definition which is given by the Michael Armstrong, that he has defined that the performance management is the strategic integrated approach to delivering sustained success to the organizations by improving the performance of people who work in them by developing the capabilities of team and individual contribution. So this is about the meaning and definition. Now the next topic, that is reasons for undertaking the performance management. Here PM refers to the performance management. It involves the thinking through the various facts of performance, identifying the critical dimensions of performance, planning, reviewing, developing, and enhancing the performance and related competencies. So the first region or a dimensions of undertaking the performance management is the result and output. The most acceptable and a measurable dimension of performance is the result and output. It describes the conditions of input, which include the raw material, working condition, process capabilities, talent of employees, product and services. It is also necessary to plan all the performance activities in a scientific and systematic manner so that the desired results may be obtained. Second reason is the input. So this dimension deals with the activities to be accomplished by the employees. The performance can be achieved if there is a if the nature of an input can be managed without mistake, because the performance is a function of three set of factors, that is ability, motivation, and organizational support. If anyone among these three factors in is less in the then the performance is poor. So the employee performance must be equal to the employee competence plus employee motivation plus employee support. Next dimension is the time. So it is a time is a precious and a very important dimension of performance. In the current scenario, the performance management is the time bound. Otherwise, the survival of organization is not possible in the future. Now, the next dimension is focus. The performance also has a focus dimension. For example, in case of sales, profit, and new areas, the focus means the attention not only on own activities but also to keep the close watch on related activities. Next dimension is the quality. The quality is a not a destination but a journey. The quality refers to doing a things right from the first time rather than making and correcting the mistakes in order to achieve the total customer satisfaction. Next dimension is the cost. So the ultimate principle of purchasing is the low cost with best quality. Therefore, the cost effectiveness is the another dimension of performance management. It implies the capacity of a business unit to produce a given commodity at the lower rate through the more effective utilization of existing resources. So, it is basically the process of cost reduction by improving the efficiency of operation. Now, the last dimension is the output. So output relationship and analysis is relevant and essential to understand the input output relationship. So the purpose of input output analysis is to find out the interdependencies and complexity of economy in order to determine the conditions for maintaining the balance between the demand and supply. So this is about the reasons for undertaking the performance management. Now the next topic is the performance management processes. So the performance management uh, is essentially consists of 4 stages. That is, first stage is the planning stage. So planning is a process in which the future course of action has been decided in advance. So this helps in giving the direction while performing the task. Without planning, the objectives of doing the work will not be clear. Now the next process, that is step 2, is an action for action or execution of plan. So after planning of performance management, the next step is action or execution of the plan. If the plan is good and not implemented properly, the result will be poor, and poor plan implemented strongly, then many irregularities can overcome. So this stage is very important. In the execution stage, the action to be taken simultaneously with work. Now the next stage is the performance assessment. So the next phase will be performance assessment, or we can say the performance appraisal. So after planning and execution of the plan, it becomes necessary to see whether the job is performed as per the planning or according to the guidelines. The performance is to be reviewed, and if it is not done, then the employee and managers will not take interest in the whole process of performance management. The performance will be assessed during the work and mid of the year, and finally at the end of the year. So it is a difficult work to be done properly. Now the last and the final stage is the final review and development plan. So after the performance assessment at the end of the year, the management go for the final review of performance. So their review of responsibility and accountability, the performance standard achieved, the competencies of employee possesses, the leadership qualities shown, the discipline during the work, teamwork, level of commitment, and also the commitment of supervisors and employees will be studied in detail under this step. Next is the diagnosis and benchmarking of performance. So performance management is a wide and comprehensive segment. The concern seeks to be to determine and evaluate the performance in all the employees on a systematic manner. So comprehensive design incorporates the 5 P's with their target oriented roles and functions. So first one under this is performance assessment, that is P1. So it is an information oriented task in which the process is laid down to collect the data and information about the present and past job performance of employees, and the management such as the top down evaluating approach to make a decision about the adequacy and perfection of employees. Second is performance appraisal, P2. So it is a system by which an organization it is a system by which the organization assign some score to evaluate the level of current and the past performance of individual or a groups. The individual performance is compared to the set of performance standard while evaluating the score or criteria. It may also include the assessment task also. Now the third one is the performance evaluation, P3. It is used to extend the process to follow the employee's performance effectively. It is concerned about the quantitatively and qualitatively to determine and evaluate the performance procedure on a set of standard of work. Now the fourth one is performance review, P4. So it is a more concern to study the final result as a output of employees performance and reconsider the checklist of strength and weaknesses of performance process. Now the fifth one is the performance competencies, P5. So it is a more concern to evaluate the skill, knowledge and capabilities of job holder. So it is the process of determining the relative worth of different categories of competencies in the nature and responsibilities are also analyzed and evaluate. Now the next topic is the setting the performance standard. So standard of performance are generally the written statement describing how well a job should be performed. So performance standards are developed collaboratively with employees and whenever possible explained to the new employees during their orientation and induction session. So the performance standard generally provides a benchmark against which we can evaluate the work performance of employees. So the standard of performance are usually developed in collaboration with employees who do the task or functions, and the second one is that explained to the new employees within the first month of the job or during the induction session. uh, so the setting of performance standards or the standards must be realistic, specific, based on measurable data, observation and or verifiable information, consistent with the organizational goal, challenging, clear, understandable and dynamic. Now the next topic is performance measurement. So the performance measurement can be done through three ways. First one is the traditional performance management or traditional performance measurement. So the performance measurement is a natural work group usually operates according to the traditional performance management model, in which the focus is on the work performance of individual and his or her contribution to the mission of organization as observed and accessed by evaluating managers. Now the second method of performance measurement is the performance management by the self-managed team. It is managed by the team in itself, so therefore it is called the self-managed team. So this empowerment varies from the organization to organization or even from the department to the department, and it also sometimes depends upon the readiness of the team members to assume those responsibilities. Now the third one is the performance management in cross-functional team. A cross-functional team typically operates without the formal supervision, though it may have a team leader. Members usually report to evaluating managers in their concerned departments. Now the next topic is review of performance. So the review of performance should emphasize on the following concern, that is emphasizing on the front end planning rather than the back end review of performance, ensuring emphasis on creating the broader definition of performance that focuses on more than narrowing definition defined job responsibility, emphasis on creating a constant dialogue rather than depending solely on filling the performance review evaluation form and restricting to evaluation or rating scale, focusing on reward and recognition aspect of performance, and emphasis on continuous performance improvement and development, and ensuring the enhancement of communication at all levels of organization. And review of performance also concern for creating the value addition to the stakeholders need, interest and aspiration. The last topic under this is rewarding the performance through the financial and non-financial aspects. Under this, the financial gains or direct financial gains are growth in sales, reduce the cost of organization, stop the project overrun, align the organizational directly behind the CEO goals, decrease the time it takes to create the strategic and operational changes by communicating the changes through the new set of goals. Now the next one is the non-financial gains, that is uh, motivated workforce, optimize the incentive plans, improves the employee engagement, create transparency in achievement of goals, high confidence in bonus payment process, professional development programs, improved management control, audit or comply with legislative requirement, simplifies the communication and provides the well communicated documentation. uh, so this is all about the performance management. Thank you so much.